Hello, world. Good morning once again. Today, we're going to talk about living in an imperfect world. The phrase, we live in an imperfect world, is a widely shared sentiment that acknowledges the inherent flaws and challenges in human existence in the world at large, often leading to discussions on finding happiness, striving for excellence rather than perfection, and embracing the authenticity that imperfections provide. It suggests that expecting absolute perfection is unrealistic, and instead, one can find peace and growth by accepting these imperfections both in ourselves and in the world around us. I'm guilty of being impatient with the world. I'm guilty of looking at people and saying, why? I'm guilty of looking at situations and saying, why? Why do people act this way? Why do people do these things? Etc., etc. It's hard to accept the way the world is at this time. Growing up in a probably lower than middle class lifestyle uh, when I was younger, the world seemed a lot easier. Maybe because I was a child, maybe because I just didn't know any better. And as you get older, you get a little more wisdom, maybe a little less patience with the ignorance of the world. Trying to understand human nature. The statement recognized that humans are naturally flawed, prone to mistakes, and possesses weaknesses. I think that can be changed. Yes, we are flawed only because we've been taught certain things as a child growing up. Peer pressures, different items as such. Do we make mistakes? 1000%. It's how we rectify the mistakes that we've made. External realities. It also reflects that the world itself contains issues, challenges, and imperfections that we cannot control. It's not the world, it's the people of the world. The world was made perfect. We've screwed it up. We were made perfect as newborn babies. We spoke about this before. We didn't know the difference between good and evil, but we were taught the difference between good and evil. That's why God told Adam before he made Eve, do not touch the tree of fruit, the tree of knowing the difference between good and evil, the fruit that would discern to you the differences between good and evil, temptation, and many more things. Acceptance to imperfection. A key response is to embrace imperfections, which allows for authenticity and a deeper understanding of our shared humanity, striving for excellence. Instead of pursuing impossible perfection, one can aim for continuous improvement and excellence in their efforts. We spoke about that before. We can only strive for perfection. We cannot expect to be perfect. There's a lot of people out there that say, I'm a perfect being. I can do anything. I'm the best at everything. Well, I differ with your thought process. Nobody's perfect. Even Jesus himself got angry, got impatient, understood that we as human beings had imperfections, but still just could not understand why we could not understand. Finding happiness. Happiness is an imperfect happiness in an imperfect world can be found by appreciating small things, practicing gratitude, living in the present, and surrounding oneself with positive influences. In many of the videos that I've done, we talked about this. Happiness and joy and love will bring you to a point where all that other stuff really doesn't matter. If you're happy with yourself, if you're happy with your life, the problem is we're never happy. We're never content. We never find things that to do that make us happy. We all have jobs that make us unhappy. Shouldn't say all of us, there most of us, right? You have to find the good in everything. Leave out the evil. That'll bring you more joy. That'll bring you more happiness, knowing that there's a means to the end. Let's talk about growth and learning. The statement applies an opportunity for constant learning, self-correction, and the personal growth by acknowledging our limits. Clint Eastwood said it well in Dirty Harry. A man has to know their limitations. 100% truth. If we do not understand our limitations in certain situations, it's going to drive you nuts. We can't control things that other people do, but we can control what we do. We can control how we see the world. We can control how we act within the world. Spiritual perspective. All right, we talk about being spiritual and not religious. Religion teaches us certain things that they're the perfect religion. They're the right religion. But if you're spiritual, all that other stuff doesn't matter. If you've had that one-on-one experience with your higher power that shows you goodness, that's the path you want to follow. Sometimes you can't take man's word for anything. You take it for face value. Take the good out of whatever man says and try to reevaluate the situation. For some, this acceptance is tied to a faith perspective, trusting in a higher power to bring about ultimate perfection or to provide strength in the midst of imperfection. We strive for ultimate perfection, knowing that we'll never be perfect. We're always going to do things we shouldn't. We're always going to say things we shouldn't. We're always going to think things that we shouldn't. It's limiting how many times we create the same feeling. The realism of the concept. It offers a realistic perspective on life, moving away from the pressure to achieve an unattainable ideal of perfection. That's why the world feels as though they're perfect. That's why the world is the way it is. That's why the world has imperfections. Remembering that it's not the world, it's us that cause the imperfections, that cause the things of this world, that cause the hate, destruction. We do that. The world doesn't. The world just spins. Okay? That's all the world does. We created the evil things. We created hate. We created the ill feelings towards each other, the imperfections that we see within this world. We created from the beginning of time. And it's just grown and festered even more. Once again, we still have time. to reverse what we've caused, to reverse what our forefathers had caused. We, as an imperfect being, will always do things, say things, like I said, that will cause more imperfections in the world. If we show empathy, recognize that everyone shares an imperfection, fosters empathy and a sense of connection with others. If we can have empathy towards each other, a lot of the imperfections in this world will disappear. If we can try to understand each and every feeling that we feel towards somebody else, even if they've hurt you in any type of way, taking those feelings and fostering positiveness, love, joy, and happiness, and say this, instead of getting angry at that person, why not turn it around and show them more love? Why can't we do that? Because we're imperfect. The imperfections within us cause all of these things, cause the world to be such that sometimes you don't want to live in it anymore. Turn it around. Feel good about yourself and know that you're not perfect. And all the imperfections that are caused by the people of this world will become minute. Freedom from pressure. It can be liberating to let go of the relentless pursuit of perfection, freeing individuals to live more authentically and find joy in the present. I'm going to read it again. Freedom from pressure. It can be liberating to let go of the relentless pursuit of perfection, freeing individuals to live more authentically and find joy in the present. We can't change things that have happened in the past. The past is the past. Let it go. We can't change things that are going to happen. We cannot know what's going to happen. So how do we change that? How do we try to avoid imperfections that we cause? Living with joy, love, and happiness. Smiling, feeling good each and every day. Wake up feeling good. Know that you've got another day to make things right. Sometimes it's hard. Your body is exhausted. Rest. Find a way to rest during the day. When you're in a stressful situation, smile and say, "This too shall pass." It will. It'll pass. It's a temporary situation that you're in at the moment. It will pass. Finding a way to understand yourself. Before you can understand anyone else, you have to understand who you are. Stop trying to be perfect. You can strive for perfection, but understanding that there's always going to be somebody a little bit better than you are at what you do. Don't get angry. Try harder. Research more. But the most important thing is to live with happiness. Love, tenderness, empathy, understanding, all of the above. I'm talking to myself, not just you. For I am an imperfect being. I make mistakes. That's why the world is the way it is. Because we're all imperfect people. So there are going to be imperfect situations in our lives. For me, my frustration, a lot of it is when I'm driving. When I'm out there driving and somebody has to come up to you and give you the middle finger. Somebody has to drive up to you and look at you like you did something wrong. You didn't move quick enough. You didn't let them in the flow of traffic. What did you do wrong? Now you get angry. Now you look at them and you respond the same way they responded to you. Don't look at them. I'm guilty. I'm talking about me at this point in time. You go down the road, you just minding your business, and someone has to just piss you off just because we're imperfect. You want to get pissed off back at them just because they're an idiot? They're not having a good day? Why let that other person ruin your day? I'm looking at myself right now, talking to myself. If you're someone like I am, let it go. If you're someone like I am, stop worrying about what other people think. Stop worrying about other people's wrongdoings. They're having a bad day. Let them have their bad day. Don't worry about them. Worry about you. Take every imperfection of this world that we've caused, make it into a positive. If we can't do that, then we have no way of changing the way things are. We have to understand who we are and whose we are, right? God's in control. Give it to him. Let him have everything that bothers you. Let him have everything that you feel makes you imperfect. Just give it to him, whatever the situation may be, whatever that feeling may be, just give it to him. Let him guide you. Let him show you the way of love, empathy, joy, happiness. We can change the world. We can change the way the world thinks by changing the way you think, the way you react to imperfect situations. All right, y'all. Have a great Sunday. Remember, I love you. Peace.